All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Jason at 4 with Realist News. I don't know if I've mentioned this one yet, but I've been talking with people through email. It was actually listed, and I think it was the very last WebBot report, at least the crypto WebBot report, the Bare Naked Wealth series. This particular coin or token that's coming out is called DigiPulse, D-I-G-I Pulse. And I've been communicating a little bit with Norm through email, and you know me, I'm so busy these days. He was like, hey, how does Saturday work? And you know what? Finally, I got some free time here to talk about it. So it's 3 a.m. where he's at, and you're in Latvia, right? Correct?
Yep, correct.
Yep. So it's 3 a.m. over there. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time here. He's got to wake up super late. But anyways, he's going to kind of tell you about what this is. But in the short term, I'm just going to read the very brief intro from their website, which, by the way, is digipulse.io. And this is essentially an inheritance type of token. So this is definitely a utility token. This is not going to be considered a security. I don't see how that ever could be any way, shape, or form. But it says digital asset inheritance simplified. Our goal is to ensure that people pass their digital assets onto the rightful inheritors in case of the owner's death, and to tackle the issue of escheatment in the digital area. So that's interesting. No one's doing this, right? So number one, what is old Jason 4's rule of thumb? Are they how many tokens are being created is one of the things I look at. What does the token actually do? Is there anything else out there that's like it? Is it very useful, etc.? In this case, it is. And of course, thirdly, during a pre-sale or during an ICO, if there's no pre-sale, what kind of bonus tokens do people get, such as you guys and myself, my subscribers and all. So I'm going to ask, by the way, he's a co-founder. His name is, we're just going to call it Norm for short. It's hard to pronounce his last name. But Norm's with me. Norm, when did this idea come to you guys? Like, hey, we should, we have something here.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Well, the idea started about 1.5 years ago when my co-founder was working long hours, like 14-hour days in a startup. It's, a hustle out there. And the thing was, when he was doing his morning commute, he didn't feel quite well physically because he was overworked. And he all of a sudden thought, what would happen to all of his digital things, like all the passwords that are necessary for his work, etc., etc. And he sort of passed this idea on to me, and we started to think on a solution. We sort of got a small prototype in place, but at the time when we were doing this, the cryptocurrency market started to really gain traction, at least in our point of view. Of course, it's been going on since 2009, but at that point, I thought about this initial spin for the idea to sort of add the cryptocurrency aspect, because as you all know, cryptocurrencies are, how to put it, vulnerable to become lost if you forget your wallet address. And it all sort of clicked for us, and we started to work on this idea. And that's when we looked into the whole ICO scene.
So hold on.
Yeah.
This isn't just about if somebody dies, like inheritance. Are you saying that it's almost like a password manager, or like a...
No, it's not a password manager, definitely.
Okay.
So the idea of what we're doing, DigiPulse itself will be an interface that helps users to interact with a smart contract. And so this smart contract will contain all the information of the inheritor, and in addition, it will allow to create, let's call it a smart vault, where you can put in everything you want digitally, like letters, photos, your key store files, whatever. Afterwards, it's all being encrypted and split amongst our blockchain. So the idea behind it is similar to what the storage is doing. So we kind of looked into their solution, and based on their design, we are creating our own blockchain where we will store this information. And so the smart contract is the only thing that can access the assets that you have stored there. DigiPulse ourselves, we are completely decentralized. We only offer this interaction with the smart contract. And the smart contract will have an activity trigger. For now, it's set. You put on a time frame after which you want the inactivity period to be triggered. Let's say 2 months or a month or a year. We combine this with multiple integrations from the web, like your social profiles, emails. You can also stay completely anonymous. And afterwards, when this inactivity period has been reached, your inheritors gain access to this smart contract. So DigiPulse we do not know what's in there, and we do not intend to know.
Where does how does it store? Are you guys going to have like a database server or some type of file server that you're going to store? Because you mentioned talking about storing files and pictures and things. Where does that get stored?
Well, that gets stored on our own blockchain. So we are planning to involve users to actually become our own storage providers, and they will get rewarded with our tokens in the process. And so,
so almost like nodes.
Yeah, exactly, similar to that. So yeah, we involve the community in doing that, and so basically all of this information is split amongst the blockchain on these multiple storage providers.
Any person that has a node, that would be essentially providing space on their PC or server or whatever they have.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super encrypted to where they would never be able to crack into it, look at your stuff, correct?
Correct. Because we really, during our first idea, our first ICO, so this is a relaunch, the thing is, we had a lot of feedback from the community, because our first idea was too centralized, let's put it that way. And during our sort of upgrade, we had a new team member who is a big blockchain developer. He's one of the top security auditors in Europe. He came up with a solution, and hence the idea became completely decentralized. So it does work.
So it's kind of peer-to-peer, like the old days of Napster or whatever, where or LimeWire, where you could download a movie or whatever, and it's stored in pieces all over the place.
Exactly.
Kind of like that, but again, we're talking blockchain technology in this case, not open and those things. You could, of course, look at the files, anything that was stored on your computer. In this case, that's not going to be the case because it's going to be massively encrypted.
Exactly, yeah. And split amongst, so it's basically almost impossible to get all the pieces together from all of the node holders.
Gotcha. Interesting. So walk me through a scenario where a husband and wife, husband passes away. How does the wife gain access to that stuff? Like, for example, because you mentioned you could put a month or a year excuse me, out, and then if there's an activity, it triggers. So basically, let me see if I've got this right. If I were to set mine for, say, 6 months, that's kind of a setting that I deal with in the application, whatever application you guys end up writing. So I'll have an application on my computer, for example, and maybe it's part of the wallet, or is it not a wallet?
No, so basically it would be, we are working on a platform, so it would be more of a web-based interface for the users, where you log in, you interact with the smart contract, and then you put in through this interface, you set up this inactivity period. So let's say 6 months. And the more integrations you use, the easier it is for us to know that you are definitely offline, that something has happened. So the logic, what we're tackling here is that, at least for myself, is the case is if I do not touch my smartphone or computer for at least a day, that's not normal anymore. Well, sort of. And yeah, people can stay anonymous during the process, meaning that they can also only create an account, and the inactivity trigger period is the interaction with the smart vault. That's the anonymous way. But the more integrations you set up with, like I mentioned previously, the social profiles, let's say you integrate with Facebook, your Twitter feed, Gmails, we have already finished the smartphone applications that you just download on your phone, and it's basically sending a ping that you are online. And in the scenario with the husband and wife, so let's say the husband has created the smart contract, and he has put inside the details of his wife, basically her date of birth, name, how to contact her, etc., etc., etc. The more information he provides, the easier it would be for DigiPulse afterwards to contact the wife. But the minimum thing that we need is an email to where afterwards we send this information out. So there are two options. One option is that the husband tells the wife, hey, I have the DigiPulse service set up, so just in case, this is a heads up. Or in the other scenario, he can not tell her, so it can stay a secret. And yeah, so after the 6 months inactivity period, we send out the access to the smart vault, and basically what happens is that she has to put in the information about her, basically. So it's like it would be like name, date of birth, etc., etc., and there would be also multiple questions that the user who set up the smart vault can create for himself. So like trick questions sometimes. I know this happens like in bank accounts. When you lose your password, you have to re-put in like tricky questions that other people wouldn't know necessarily. And when she opens this smart contract, she gains access to everything that this husband has stored. It can be like letters, photos, miscellaneous items, also these key stores. Of course, at that moment, maybe the wife or spouse, partner, whatever, isn't such a pro in the crypto field. She can contact DigiPulse, and we will guide her through the process of how to set things up or where to put what, and so on. So that's the basic idea.
So what do you, first of all, let me go with the normal questions I would always ask, the three things I was talking about in the beginning. You know,
Sure.
we heard, I have 3 steps. Step number 2, you just covered. What does it do? How is it different from anything out there? There's nothing else out there like this. So how many tokens are going to be created total?
Yeah, total. So let me just go to my numbers. It will be, the total amount of tokens will be 20,400,000 approximately.
And how many, or what kind of a fraction? I mean, you can use a fraction of one token to store stuff? Or
Yeah,
how does that work?
During the start, after the ICO, the plan is to basically each interaction with the smart contract, so the inactivity period reset will require 1 DigiPulse token at the start. Afterwards, when we get more customers, the price of the DigiPulse token will go down. So, and then you will, the price will go up, but the percentage of the token that you use will go down. So afterwards, it will be like 0.5 DGPT, then 0.02, etc., etc.,
Just keep going. Okay. Okay, so
yeah.
it could fractionalize way out to cover, you know, billions of people potentially.
Yeah.
Easily. Okay. That's interesting. And how many are you having a pre-ICO, or are you just going to have an ICO?
So we are having a pre-ICO at the moment. It's more of a closed thing. If somebody is interested, they can write us to our email at hello@digipulse.io. But the thing is, we wouldn't be able to manage to cover all the marketing channels without a pre-sale, as we learned from the first ICO. There are some funds required, and we are really looking into multiple options how to promote our ICO. And basically, the ICO itself will start on the 1st of October, and it will be running for a month exactly. So a closed pre-sale and an ICO afterwards.
But in the pre-sale, the closed pre-sale is actually happening right now, or you're going to have it happen?
We're going to have it happen in a couple of days.
a couple of days from now.
Yeah.
So literally like Monday.
Yeah.
Which today is. Let me say this. Today is Saturday over here right now.
Yeah.
So Monday.
Monday.
What number of tokens will you be giving out during the pre-sale for 1 ETH?
So for 1 ETH, it will be 500 DGPT. So the normal price for 1 Ethereum is 250. That's the baseline without any rewards. During the pre-sale, we're giving a 100% reward. And afterwards, we'll have 5 tiers that will start at 20% and afterwards deteriorate by 5%.
And that'll be during the ICO on October.
Yeah, that
1st.
will be during the ICO. Yeah.
So people have an opportunity to get a 100% discount, and the only way to do that now is to email you at hello@digipulse.io.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to tell you right now.
Sure.
I've sent millions of dollars worth of ETH on probably every single video interview I've ever done with an ICO. Are you prepared to handle thousands potentially of emails coming to you right now? Or do I need to edit this whole piece out?
Well, as of now, there are 2 active peoples on the email channels. Let's see how this goes.
Okay.
Because
every time I've done this, the response later, oh my God, Joe, we did not know that many people would be interested in emailing us. Just an FYI, it's a good problem to have, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Very good. I don't want to flood you if you're not expecting it.
No. I have been warned.
Okay.
That's
so that we got that out of the way. I want to read everybody. This is right out of the Webbot report of what Cliff's data shows. And this again, this was a more recent one that he released. Hang on one second. So it says DigiPulse. You simply can't die without it. How else are you going to ensure that your cryptocurrencies go to those you intend? Most wills, attorneys, courts, and anyone else involved in the death business will simply not be prepared to distribute your cryptocurrency portfolio when the cast-off toilet seat from a space station rehab takes you out on its re-entry. DigiPulse is another of these great ideas from open minds in Latvia. Begun as a small business focused on all the atoms we leave behind, they had the good vision to see the digital remains we leave as yet another problem needing solving. DigiPulse considered themselves very well positioned to take on the responsibilities of this space. DigiPulse is the first entry, has a solid business model, well thought out service delivery. Their largest concern in moving forward will be system security, but as this is continuously a problem for all of crypto space, it needs merely to be noted frequently. While their structure, including the Capture app, is very innovative, the vulnerabilities of cross-network activity reporting may prove to be too burdensome as the system matures. However, other business opportunity exists for their core mission by way of an API integration with various wallet providers. The first into a very necessary and completely ignored area of crypto space, DigiPulse faces a lot of challenges as it grows into the space. Examine the offering carefully to see if you think they can succeed with these challenges. If so, it's going to be a hugely rich area of crypto space in which to be invested. And again, it's DigiPulse, DigiPulse.io. So that's what Cliff High wrote in his most recent Webbot report. And as you see how he ends it, he leaves it up to us. If you think it's a good, good thing to get into, go ahead. He's mentioning it for a reason, folks. It's in his Webbot report for a reason. Cliff is being very careful as how he writes these things, so that he doesn't specifically tell you, get into this one, not get into this one. He wants to let you know these are some good ones. Do what you want with them. The fact of the matter, again, what's my little 3 rules? How many tokens are being created? What does the thing do? And number 3, what do you get for an ETH? In this case, 501 if you're in on the pre-sale, which will then become 250, and then lower 5%, 5%, 5% down till it's nothing. No discount bonus. So I rarely say this, but you know, I talk about some of these cryptos, and I think I want to throw some, you know, I always tell people I want to throw mud on the wall, so to speak. You know, put some ETH out here, you know, throw some mud on the wall. Some of it may stick. And so far, a lot of what I've been talking about has stuck, so that's a good thing. That means it's been profitable. But I have a little, you know, bubble up here where I say these are kind of like, I almost feel like my must-haves. Like I say these have real good potential. I think DigiPulse is going to be one of those because there's nothing else out there like it. It's got a very low amount, 20 million tokens is all that's being created. Again, less scarce, etc. You know, look at Bitcoin. You know, it's $4,800, and there's only 21 million or whatever being created. You know, not that I think DigiPulse is going to be the next Bitcoin. It's not intended for that. However, I think this is going to be on one of my must-have lists. And just as an FYI to everybody, you know, everyone, I see people always mentioning to me, Joe, you're getting paid every time. You get paid every time for these. So Norm, did I ask you to pay me anything for this interview?
No, Joe has not asked me to pay anything.
Yeah, you heard it live from the horse's mouth. Just an FYI. You know, this isn't the case, guys. You know, people think every single time I got to get paid. You know, it's not. And even if I was, I would still be picking and choosing the ones I talk about and the ones that, you know, say, hey, talk about ours. Man, if I don't see potential there, you know, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm sorry. Thanks for the offering. You know, hey, I want some extra ETH or some extra tokens, but you know what? I'm looking forward here. I see what happens with where these cryptos are going. That doesn't mean, you know, just invest in every single thing out there under the blue sky. So DigiPulse, it's in the Webbot report. You know, the guy, he reached out to me, hey, you know, can we talk and do an interview? Absolutely. Just had a hard time lining up some time, but Saturday night was a good night, so here he is. And so yeah, once again, it's hello, HELLO, at digipulse.io. I think I'm going to go ahead and put that in the description box at the very top, just so everyone knows. You can quickly click that link. And again, Norm, I think you're about to get flooded, my friend.
Okay.
Just be ready to deal with it, you know. Got to do what you got to do. This thing, I think, is going to be wildly successful. By the way, this is probably another question I should have asked earlier, but
sure.
During this pre-sale, is there a certain number set aside, or are you just pretty much going to let it run till whatever, and then maybe the ICO never even happens because you sell out?
No, the pre-sale is going to run only up to 600,000 tokens.
Okay.
And all of these, so it's basically, if there are together 20.4 million tokens all together, it's 600,000 from those are only for the pre-sale. It's just we don't want to take more than we need, because we need to cover, as I mentioned, the marketing expenses.
Yeah.
Basically, we need to run on a budget for a month before the initial ICO. So basically, this is more of a who comes first, that's the one who gets it.
You know what's beautiful about that? There was an ICO that happened today from a company that does like online gambling, casino, lottery, whatever, you know, that space. And I was talking about it on my channel recently, and Saturday today was their ICO. The damn thing sold out in 96 seconds. They had 6 million tokens to give out. They were doing 3,000 to 1 for the special bonus for my subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So they sold out in 96 seconds. And I was telling everybody that I wasn't like super psyched about it, like this is a must-have. It was just like, you know, I think there's potential to make some money on this ICO. You know, I'm going to try to get in it. I freaking missed out. I wasn't in there fast enough, and I didn't get any. So the beautiful thing is, while me and you are sitting here talking right now, as soon as I hang up with you, I'm sending you an email to hello@digipulse.io. Hey, this is Jason at 4. You know, I want some. So the final question, I guess, is because this kind of was similar with, actually with Wild Crypto as well, but mainly with the Pillar token. And they said basically just email us at this address and just basically say in the email, how many Ethereum worth are you going to send us? 10 Ethereum, 1 Ethereum, half an Ethereum, whatever. So they can get an idea of what, you know, it would be looking like. So my question to you is, should everybody do that too and send you an email saying, this is how much Ethereum I would like to send you for this? And by the way, I'm going to suggest to you to put a cap on that. Like, don't allow it over such and such because people could eat that up so fast that, you know, 5, 10 people get in it and it's cleaned out.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing this up. One small disclaimer I wanted to add is that during the pre-sale, we are only accepting donations, contributions that are up from 10 Ethereum. So if you want to contribute during the pre-sale, like 0.001, sorry, we do not accept. It's only for 10 plus Ethereum transactions.
0.10 of 1 Ethereum or 10 Ethereum?
10 Ethereum.
Okay, so at today's dollars, let's just call it $300 Ethereum, right? If it's $300 Ethereum today, you're talking $3,000, right? Times 10, right? Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear. So basically, it needs to be at least 10 Ethereum if someone wants to get into this with this particular pre-sale.
Exactly.
Is there an upper limit, or that doesn't matter?
Well, the upper limit is how much is remaining in the pre-sale itself.
So if someone's got 500 ETH, boom, you'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Now during the ICO, are they able to send like a tenth of a ETH?
Yeah, during
the regular ICO, even at 20% discount.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so basically you're giving a great discount, 100%, but people have to come up with a little bit of ETH. They're not going to get into this for a few. They got to give 10. They got to be serious about it. I get it. So that makes sense. But then at least in the ICO, should anyone miss out and say, well, I only had 2 or 3 or 5 ETH, I didn't have any more. Hey, there's still an opportunity coming up.
Exactly, because during the ICO, we are sort of more aimed at the whole community, because that token that they'll be getting essentially will be the payment method for the smart contract itself. So it wouldn't be fair only like to hand out huge amounts, because the normal cryptocurrency user would need those tokens in the first place. So this is his or her opportunity to get their hands on it.
All right, so let me ask, I think maybe the final question.
Sure.
So there's 20 million tokens that'll ultimately be dispersed between today through the ICO, and when the ICO ends, how long is the ICO for? A month or days or what?
A month. We're starting 1st of October.
To November. Yeah. Okay. So come November 1st, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to sell out of all 20 million. That's a guaranteed. So 20 million are out there. Once you get this thing put online, your application is developed. First of all, when do you see that happening? The application, or at least in a beta or something? Yeah,
well, our developer is now working on it as we speak. So the alpha is planned to be released on the 1st of October.
Okay.
Sort of a closed alpha. And the beta will be available like in the middle of November. So basically, me and Dmitry, my partner, we are working on the whole management of the ICO, but in the meantime, our developer is working on the solution as we speak.
Okay. So if all of us, let's say your 20 million tokens are issued, and I'm assuming you're going to issue the tokens right shortly after the ICO ends, the main ICO ends, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something. Okay. How does someone who doesn't have a token get a token in their hand if all the quote-unquote investors, let's call people who just jumped on this for an investment purpose only and didn't want to actually use the token, even though they should, how does someone who's outside of that system, I guess they just go to one of the exchanges, and when those of us who have them sell them, they get them that way?
Yeah, that's the basic idea behind that, that the market will tell the price.
Right, so therefore, yeah, there could definitely be some value if that's the only way to get it, which, I mean, makes sense. I thought there was one other thing that just came to me as we were just talking about that. We think. Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off and skip something.
No, it's okay.
Maybe that was just it. Yeah, so you have 20 million tokens. Once they're out there. Once they're listed on the exchanges, that'll be how people can get it. You're going to have the beta, whatever, coming out. Or you said alpha. Was it alpha in October?
Alpha, 1st of October, beta, middle of November.
Okay, I know what the question was. So when people email you, hey, I'd like to get in on the pre-sale, what happens? Should they say in the email, I want to do at least, I know they have to do 10, but let's say they want to put 20 in. I'm assuming they can tell you right off the bat, I want to put 20 in, or do you reply with some kind of auto reply that tells them something, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, hell, we have a automatically generated email that sends the conditions for our pre-sale, the address, and what we're working on, and how the funds will be distributed. So,
so they don't really need to, okay. So they don't really need to tell you how many they want in on. They can they're going to get a reply back. It's going to tell you you need at least 10 and some other information. Here's the address, and go ahead and send off whatever you plan on sending us. Over
exactly.
10. Okay,
Yeah.
so everybody listening, you don't have to tell them in the email how much you want. You just send them an email. I'm interested in the pre-sale. They'll see it, and they'll get a reply back, and then you just send your ETH in. Right, it's live right now, correct? So I'm going to upload this video tomorrow morning. If they want in, they can get in right away, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, basically, the only thing I wanted to add is that in this case, we will go by the date the email has been sent. By that I mean the first one who has sent it will get the first reply, and we will most likely reply to these emails in batches, like, well, let's say per 10 or per 20. So we don't send out immediately an answer to all 1,000, let's say, and because that would make a mess. So we will deal in small batches.
Okay. All right. So if someone sends you an email, it doesn't have to really say anything, does it? Or does it need to have a subject you'd prefer, or does it matter?
Yeah, no, it should say DigiPulse pre-sale.
Pre-sale, okay.
And yeah, then usually we had cases when somebody wrote like, please send me more information. So that in that case, we know what they're talking about.
Yeah, you didn't need to actually send them the address. Now, is the address that you guys send back in that email, is it the same for everybody? It's the same address everyone sends to, or is it different for each person?
Of course, no, it's one address.
Okay. And does it have like the gas stuff listed, or does that even matter? You know, the gas limit and all that stuff? It's just default whatever's like on My Ether wallet, right? You would suggest using My Ether wallet, like most of the
yeah.
ICOs?
Okay. Do not, the suggestion is do not use wallets that are based on exchanges that you don't know the password to. Because in the previous ICO, in the first ICO, when we started doing the refunds, some people learned very expensive lessons on what not to do. And so somebody lost, like, for example, $800 from sending an exchange wallet address. And
because they don't have the private keys. And if you don't have the private keys, you can't.
Exactly. Those funds are in the internet limbo, so to say.
Yeah, the only way you could get it is if the exchange itself granted you the permission to get the private key, and they sent it to you. So yeah, here's the private key, which I don't think any of them would do, even though it's your account, but I get it. So, all right. So basically, it's first come, first serve email.
Yep.
And I would, yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking just to help things out. I would personally tell everybody listening, I would still say in the initial email, your subject's going to be, pre-sale or whatever you want to call it. I'm interested in the pre-sale or just pre-sale. They'll see it. They'll know what it means. And then the body of the message, I would still probably put, and again, it's got to be at least 10 Ethereum you're going to put into this. Tell them in the email body. I think it would just help.
Yeah, it would.
10, 12, 15, 20, whatever it is. So that way they see what you were going to send them. They can then go look at the blockchain, the Etherscan to see, okay, they sent it, confirmed it. Yes, they said they were going to send 20, and they did, so we can count that off. It would probably, I think it would just help overall. So everybody listening, that's what I would do. All right, so if there's anything else you need to add, I'd say this will be it, or otherwise we can end the interview.
Yeah, well, a couple of small things. First of all, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me. Number two, Joe has not paid me, not asked me to pay him. That's the right thing.
But I will say this: if they decide to throw me a bonus later for whatever the hell reason, I won't say no. Everybody knows that, but they don't have to. This is there's value here. I want to do a video on this because I think this is a good one to get into, plain and simple.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to add is that this is our relaunch, and we are most definitely not ashamed of it because the first ICO taught us many valuable lessons, and we took all of that feedback from the community and came up with an even better solution. So thank you guys, even for all of those constructive criticisms, it really helped us out a lot. So yeah.
Hey, well, you picked up the pieces. You're ready to roll now. You've got everything figured out, and now again, you're gonna have an alpha or closed whatever version of it at least here in a month or so, which is great. Most of these companies and the ICOs that come out, it's like, oh, in 2018 we'll get the first stage. You guys are on it.
Exactly. This is not the case with us. We are really planning to put this thing out. Because we truly, it may sound a little bit, how to say, hard to believe, but we ourselves truly believe in this idea, and we think that the community needs it. It's not just a take the funds and run kind of thing. We are working on it. We will deliver it. This is my promise.
Awesome. Fantastic. Norm, glad we finally were able to get together. And again, I'm just trying to think. What did you say? Monday. It's not today. It's Monday. You said it was going to go, right?
Yeah, but it's not a problem for us to set it up a little bit earlier. It depends on the emails that will come in, and then we'll send out the details.
Okay, so tomorrow morning when my video goes live, I'm telling you now, you're going to get hit. That's 600,000 tokens is gone tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So as long as you're okay with that and you're ready to deal with it, we'll go. Because I don't want to. Because what happens is my subscribers start emailing me, Joe, what happened? It's bouncing back, and like this morning, I'm like, I don't know. I'm looking. I'm like, oh my god, it sold out in 96 seconds. That's why it's bouncing. I didn't even get in. Holy crap, So yeah, as long as you're good with it, it doesn't have to be Monday. Because I know we said that earlier, it'd be out 2 days. But yeah, if Saturday, tomorrow morning, Sunday, you're ready. It's gonna hit you. So that's good.
Maybe if it's okay with you, I can afterwards send you a note telling that, hey, our pre-sale has closed, and you can maybe forward
update the video or something.
Yeah,
I'll do an update video, or maybe I'll just I was gonna say sometimes I'm just better off deleting the video that I put up, like this one, just delete the whole thing. But I could put a note in there, just hey, it's over. It's because I don't want to delete the video because other people still want to hear what we just talked about in the future, the future ICO in a month. So I'm not going to delete it, but I'll go right back in and edit it to say, hey, it's over. And I'll probably be prepared for that by the time I wake up tomorrow morning because it'll probably be over by that point. But because my videos go out like at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is early. Yep. Most people aren't really awake, but by sometime in the morning, I think it'll probably hit enough people to where, look out below. It's going to hit hard and fast. So anyways, glad you got on, finally, I realize it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's awesome, man. It's so exciting, the whole crypto stuff, isn't it? I mean, the blockchain technology, where this is heading, it's just exciting.
Yeah. It's really, at least in our case, it was when it really clicked. The whole idea came together, and it was like, wow, this is it. It really works. So, for everybody in the crypto community, guys, if you have a great idea and it does work together with blockchain well, hey, put it out there. Let the community know. Ask their feedback. If they need it, they don't. What could be done better? Because truly amazing stuff can and most likely will come out of this.
Yep, awesome. Norm, thanks again. I'm going to let you get to some probably much needed sleep now.
Thank you very much.
And we'll keep in touch, buddy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.